Hello, welcome once again to El Faro Church and to this somewhat briefer message. And if you want to hear the full message, you're going to have to actually tune into our YouTube live from the church building. Great news, we are back in business in our building. Hooray! However, this is a message to encourage us. Just want to remind you it's more important to connect than even to watch lots of good content. But I want to talk about good content today, actually, because the message is actually rather negative. We're still in 2 John, and we're going to look particularly at 2 John and verses 7 down to 11. Let's read those together. I say this because many deceivers who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh have gone out into the world. Any such person is a deceiver and the Antichrist. Watch out that you do not lose what we have worked for, but that you may receive your reward fully. Anyone who runs ahead and does not continue in the teachings of Christ does not have God. Whoever continues in the teachings has both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not take them into your house and welcome them. Anyone who welcomes them shares in their wicked work. And then he ends. Now, we've been talking for a while about the importance of connecting as church. That is actually more important during this time than even the content that we're able to receive. We've talked about the fact that the content that is on the internet, there is so much material, good material on the internet from churches up and down the country you live in, all around the world. Wonderful, excellent. But how do we know the content is actually good? How discerning are we? Are we really listening to things which are going to build us up, or are we listening to things which are not really true? And so that's what I wish to talk about this morning, because really 2 John is written as a warning, and it's written as a warning to this dear lady and her family, saying, be very careful. There are some very dangerous people out there who are going to try to deceive. And so in verse 7, it talks about the fact that there are certain individuals who have gone out. Many deceivers who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming into the flesh have gone out into the world. Okay, they've gone out. Gone out from where? Where have they gone out from? And the answer is, shockingly and terribly, they've gone out from the real church. They've gone out from your evangelical church, my evangelical church. It is a sad fact that a number of the Christian cults that have been started by the sons and daughters of Bible-believing Christian workers, pastors, men and women who have served God faithfully. It's their children who have gone out and started cults, Christian cults. And this is just a very, very sad fact, but it is true. So they've gone out from the church. They have the teachings of Christ, and then they have distorted them, they've disturbed them, and particularly the ones to do with salvation. So healthy doctrine is very important. What does healthy doctrine mean? Well, the definition of healthy doctrine is not whether you agree with my particular slant on theology or not. It depends on the New Testament and the Old Testament, and it particularly centers around God himself, the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. When you start to change those doctrines, when you start to move away and walk away from them, if you start to deny that Jesus Christ is God, if you start to deny that Jesus Christ came in the flesh, you end up in heresy. And heresy is where you depart from the truths, or people depart from the truths which are in the New Testament, have been accepted by the church and are written down in what's called the creeds. When people walk away from those things, not get confused or have slight differences of opinion, but they walk away from them, salvation is under threat. So healthy doctrine is significant. It really matters. It is like walking into a house and saying, I think I'll knock down the pillars that hold the house up. Let's see if the roof will stay up. Well, the roof will come crashing down, and we end up with a mess. So we have to be very careful with the things that we're watching on our video platforms on the internet. Content does matter. It's not just a case that we can watch anything we like. We need to be discerning. We need to be careful. There will be an explosion of Christian cults, I've no doubt about that, from this point, because so many people are stuck at home, so many people are actually looking for their spiritual food from the internet, from all sorts of places. This is a perfect breeding ground for unscrupulous deceivers who wish to drag off Christians from their honest Bible-believing churches into their particular groups for their own reasons. So these people went out, verse 7. Where do they go to? Well, we actually find out later on in verses 9 and 10. So verses 9 and 10, it tells us that if anyone comes to you, so who is the you? Well, the you is this dear lady, this chosen lady and her family. If anyone comes to you and they knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. Hello, I'm a Christian teacher. I would like to stay for a week or so, and I would like you to put me up, please, and I would like to share and explain some Christian truth. What they're really saying is, hello, good morning, I would like to deceive you. I would like to bring you into my way of thinking, and I would like to profit from all that you have and largely make it mine. Well, if they turned up like that, they would say, certainly not, goodbye, boom, shut the door. You see, the situation here is that in the early church, in the first century, there would not have been hotels. No hotels, motels, very difficult to find somewhere to stay that was safe, not dangerous, and where you wouldn't have young ladies or young men knocking on your door late at night to see if you wanted their company. So where did you go? You had to find a private house, somebody who was going to take you in. And so within the Christian community in the first century, it would have been quite normal for a Christian teacher or travelling Christian to come with a letter from, say, John saying, this is a good person, this is a good couple, this is a good lady, this is a good man. Please take them in. Listen to what they have to say. They're going to teach you the truth. They're really good. But no, these individuals, they come out from the church, but they've changed the teaching. And for whatever reason, they now wish to deceive others. And so when it says, don't welcome them, it has nothing to do with having a shake of the hand, giving a kiss on both cheeks, giving a hug. No, it's not saying that. It's saying, don't identify with them. Don't let them come into your home. Don't let them become part of your life. You see, if you were this chosen lady, you would be very wealthy. She probably had a mansion, frankly. It could fit a church in, fit servants in. She had her children, lots of income. She'd have had no problem in putting this person up for a week, 2 weeks. Not an issue. Servants would have run round, made the beds, done everything. This person would have been a bit like in a hotel. But this person is a deceiver. So the way that this would happen in today's world is we must be very careful what we listen to. Is it good? Are we actually giving clicks and likes to things which are not good? We're identifying ourselves with error. So that's who we are not to talk to. Next, we come to do not. This is all negative this week. So we had the truth last week. That's very positive. This is all negative. This is who not to trust. And do not. Do not take them into your house. Do not welcome them. This is a no. Do not associate with people like this. You shouldn't be associating with them. It's not just saying hello or something like that, but it's don't go out of your way to be around them. Why not? Number 3. Well, the why not is because verse 8 tells us, watch that you do not lose what you've worked for and that you may be rewarded fully. If you actually follow these kinds of people who do not follow sound doctrine, who are heretics, you will lose so much that you've worked for. You don't lose your salvation. John isn't saying that. What John's saying here is that you will open yourself up to depression, loss of your resources, your freedom will be taken away from you, you'll be told what to wear, you'll be told who you can marry, you'll be told how to live your life. You will lose your freedom. You will lose your joy. There will be depression. When you leave, you will feel bitter, angry, upset, and that you've wasted your life or time. In other words, this is not healthy Christian living. It will not promote actually being full of the joy of the Lord. You are supposed to be joyful in the Lord, even in adversity. But if you follow people like this, these deceivers, they will rob you of your joy. Lot in the Old Testament is a good example of someone who was robbed of most of his joy. What did Lot do? Well, after he left Abraham, he chose the best area to go and live in, and he went to live in a city, a sinful city with his family, and the sin in the city got into his house and caused all sorts of problems. His wife ended up dying when she looked back at the city as it was being destroyed, and then shameful things happened with his 2 daughters. You can read all about these in Genesis. I'm not going to talk about them right now. But the point is this: his relationship with Yahweh, his relationship with God, was robbed of its joy, and there was terrible sorrow in his life. Why? Because he believed a lie, and because he followed consistently a route which was basically sinful. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 15 talks about those who build with fine materials like gold, and those who don't build with good materials, and when the fire comes, those things will be burnt up, and they shall be saved as by fire. Lot, in 2 Peter and chapter 5 verse 17, is called a righteous man. In other words, he was right before God, but his life was a mess. If you follow deceivers like this, your life will be a mess. You know, there are Christian cults, there are evangelical cults. They are people who have gone through evangelical universities, evangelical seminaries, and then have moved away from the truth, and they have actually moved into heresy, and then they start their church, and they're out there. I have a link, actually, to a TED Talk, which talks about one of these from someone who left it. Be very happy to send you the link. I have no idea how to embed it into this video. But these things really matter. What you listen to and what you're watching count. Let's make sure it's good stuff. Don't just follow the algorithms. Actually, let's be discerning about who we listen to and what we listen to. Content really does matter. Thank you for listening.